In this section, you will learn how to perform basic create, read, update, and delete operations using PDO. Let's start with the very first letter in CRUD, which is create. I'll open my text editor and create a new file here. I'll save this as create. Next thing I want to do is to include the database connection script. And then let's begin to build the query. Next, I'll create a variable here called insert query. And this will be equal to the insert statement, which we will use to create a new record. So right here, I'll begin to build a query. Insert into name of the table is books. And then we want to specify the columns that we want to insert into. First one will be name, and the second one will be description, and the last one will be created at. Next, we need to specify the values using the values keyword, followed by open and close bracket. And then in between, we specify values for each of the columns that was specified here. For the name field, I'll enter introduction to Java. Description, I'll set this to learn all about Java. Then for the last column, created at, made a mistake here, should be underscore. I'll use the PHP now function to get the current data time when this record was inserted. All right, I'm going to grab this and just paste it here. And I'll call this insert query 2. For the value, should be introduction to PHP, learn all about PHP. Next, we're going to use the try catch block. And here we need to specify that we want to catch a PDO exception and then store it in a variable. Right here, we've created two queries that we want to add into the database table. Now we're going to use the PDO exec function to add these records into the table. So I'm going to create a variable here called result. And right here, we're going to reference our database object and then call the exec method and pass it the query. So basically, the exec method is a shorthand method that PDO provides, which allows us to quickly add record into the database, or update record in the database, or delete record from the database. This executes the statement that we pass into it, which is the SQL statement, and then return the number of rows that were affected by the query. So we're going to say echo, we put in our result variable, and then we say record inserted. So I'm going to basically do the same thing for the other one. And here becomes SQL2. And for the exception part, we just need to echo an error or code. And then we can get the specific error message. All right, let's put a line break here. And also we're going to do the same for this. Okay, now we can run this in the browser and see if the record will be added. Before we do that, let me remove the string connection successful. Open our database file and just comment this out. Since we already know that we are able to establish a connection to the database, I'll come here and now change this to create. All right, here we see one record inserted, one record inserted. And now if we go to the database and click on browse, we should be able to see both records here. Introduction to Java, introduction to PHP.